I know it's necessary, cause I feel like I'm body enough. I've been stuck, been here since February, man, I feel like the timing is up. Got me like, bruh, do what the fuck. I know you ain't using your noggin for nothing. Now it's a rush, you better get off of your ass. You ain't got the profit for lunch.
And we are live, back here with Elevate With Us. And today we are here to talk about finances, money, and we have a special guest, Nessa.
Nessa Cartagena. I said it right?
Cartagena.
All right, good.
I would have did
Nessa
that, but
Cartagena.
I don't got that. I don't got it in me. So yeah, we have a guest, and she is an expert when it comes to finances. And we'll actually let you introduce yourself a little bit as far as your field, what do you do, and stuff along those lines.
Hello, guys. So personal financial planning, I always tell people, like, so much falls under that umbrella. There's no one size fits all shoe. Everybody shouldn't be doing the same thing. That's why it's called personal financial planning.
Mm-hmm.
It's personalized, it's customized to you. And so I would say, like, a little bit of background about me. Grew up with a single mom, started working when I was 14, like literally doing anything to make money. And I started saving a lot when I was in high school. It kind of came naturally to me, mostly because I saw my mom struggle. And I just knew if I wanted more for my future and my future family, like, I needed to start now. And I was like in high school, I'm like, what was I even saving for? Like, I don't know, maybe for his car or something. But I was just like, that it just came naturally to me because I just remember seeing like my mom struggle a lot and, struggling to make ends meet. And as, I knew she gave me the life that she could with what she had. But I knew that if I wanted to give my future family more, I needed to start like, sooner rather than later. So I always kind of like just took saving really seriously. That came naturally to me. Then I went to college at Kutztown, majored in personal financial planning. And my passion for, personal financial planning just became deeper as I learned more about it, and how important it is to have a financial plan. And then I started interning at Northwestern Mutual in 2021, summer 2021. I learned a lot in my internship at Northwestern Mutual. I was able to, gain real life hands-on experience, like starting to meet with clients. I got all of my licenses, and I ultimately ended my internship as the #1 female in the country. So I knew, I was like, this is where I'm, meant to be. Like, there's no, I loved what I was doing. I loved the impact that I was able to make in people's lives. I would say, like, the most impactful thing to me is when people reach out to me and they're like, thank you so much for what you've been able to do for me and my family. And thank you so much for reaching out to me. I didn't know how important this was until you brought it to light. So that, like, really means a lot to me. That what I'm doing, it matters. You know what I mean? It really
100%.
does make a difference. And so I always tell people, like, money in itself has no value, but the life that we dream of does.
Exactly.
So it's really important that, we're getting our, finances together. So.
Yeah,
100%.
That's good. I may have to talk to you after this just so we could get my finances in order and stuff like that.
Well, what inspired you? Like, why did you choose to study financial planning, like, specifically? And, like, what are one of your greatest inspirations for studying that as well?
Great question. So I chose personal financial planning because...
What's up?
Is it working?
Yeah.
I hope so. Because I only see my shit.
Nah, it's working.
I chose personal financial planning specifically because when I was in high school... Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's perfect.
Is it?
Nah, it's working.
Oh, it is? It is?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll ask the question again.
Okay,
we got.
yeah.
So why did you become a financial planner? And, like, what's the main reason you became it? And, like, what inspired you to become a financial planner? And, like, study it as well?
So in general, I remember in high school, like, sitting down with my mom literally at the dinner table. I remember she had like a few credit cards that she was trying to pay down, and we sat down and we literally put on the calendar like all the due dates for each card, figuring out like, okay, what's the minimum payment here? What's the interest rates on these cards? You know, figuring out with her basically the best most strategic way to pay these cards down so that she'd be paying less interest. And I was in high school. I didn't even know that I could, that was just like, you know, a little bit of like how I could actually help people in a bigger way. But like I was doing that, you know, because it was my mom and because I cared about her and I enjoyed it. Like I liked being able to help her and like, you know, set out a goal like to when she's going to have these things paid off by and stuff like that. And so like doing things like that, like helping my own family out, like with like how much they should have in their savings and stuff like that. Once I applied to Kutztown and I saw that you could major in personal financial planning, I was like, well, I like money and I like people. So seems like it's for me. So that was really like, and I would say like my mom is definitely like my biggest inspiration because she just like always just showed me like growing up, like to, you know, never stop, like reach for the stars, you know what I mean? And even if you miss, you still land, you know, on the moon. So, or I think I said that wrong. Reach for the moon, and even if you miss, you land among the stars.
Yeah.
So in general, you know, she just always like pushed me to like be the best I can, and you know, always like encouraged me to keep learning. I never think that I know it all. Like I know there's always more to learn, and I think that's really important too in this field. Like there's always more.
Learning.
Right? You never stop learning. You're like a sponge. So I love that.
Yeah. So I love how young. How old are you right now?
22.
She's young.
22.
I
forgot you're younger than us.
Yeah.
Damn.
She's ahead, definitely when it comes to money. I feel like a lot of people our age are very careless with their money and don't think about the future, which you seem to have a good as your job. You plan ahead. Mm-hmm. So now you don't have to give any of the things you would do at your job, but you could be very broad when I ask this question. How can people start getting ahead with their finances?
Okay.
If you could answer that without giving away too much, but giving something.
I would say, one, book a meeting with me. No.
Of course.
So definitely, like, let's sit down, you know, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit about, like, the experience that I like to take my clients through. So typically in the first meeting that I'm having with clients, when I first sit down with people and meet them for the first time, unless I already know you, we're talking about your goals. So in general, we know we want to accomplish X, Y, and Z, right? So we're going over those, and then we're looking at, okay, where are we starting from? Where we know we want to accomplish these things, where's our starting point, right? So then we start backing into the numbers. Okay, let's go over, you know, what you currently have in savings and stuff like that, or in a, you know, 401k, how much you're putting in your 401k, et cetera, or an IRA. Then we're going over a monthly budget, looking at your income, what's coming in the door, what's going out the door every month, and what are we left with? So that's typically the first meeting that I'm having with clients. And then the second meeting that I'm having with people is based on financial literacy and education. I'm huge on like teaching people this stuff. Like I want everybody to know what I know. I think everybody deserves to know what I know. So in general, the second meeting that we have is just, you know, financial literacy and education. I always tell people, I want you to feel confident in anything that we do together. And I want you to understand it at least at a base level. I don't expect you to be an expert, but you should know where your money's going. And I always tell people, like, this is your plan. I'm just living in it, right? So in general, you know, educating people, I think that's really important. And then the third meeting that we have is like, okay, now that we understand how the different tools and resources that are available to us, how they all work together strategically to create a bulletproof financial plan, here's what we're doing really well on. Here's maybe some areas where we could improve. And here's some things that we could possibly implement just to enhance your future trajectory and help you reach your goals faster. And at that point, I always tell people, like, you know, the ball's in your court. If you want to do some of the things that I recommend, and you choose to work with me, this is a long-term relationship that we're building. So I'll be with you here every step of the way as your life changes. So like that's probably my favorite part about my job too, is like growing with my clients, like, you know,
building that bond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm there with them when they get married, when they have their first kid, when they buy their first house. Like, I love that. So
I noticed you said something that was very important, that you want people to know what you know, essentially, when it comes to finances and stuff. Why do you think people don't know these things that they should know?
Yeah.
Or like what holds them back?
Yeah.
Well, one, our education system, that's basically the main reason. I always tell people, like, we're not taught this stuff in school.
None of it.
9 times out of 10, not taught by our parents. I know I wasn't. Like, I I figured out everything, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. We're all figuring it out, you know what I mean? And so I think that's why we just don't know. We're not taught it in school and not taught by our parents. So where else do people go? I don't know, TikTok and Google. And I always tell people, like, you know, there's so much information out there, right, on the internet. But I always tell people, like, keep in mind the internet and TikTok and these things that you see, they don't know you personally. They don't know your goals. They don't know what you want to accomplish. Like, these are so, you know, the things that we see on the internet are so generalized.
So broad.
They're not personalized to you at all. So just because you see someone on TikTok doing something doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you to do. And so that's where you get, like, more value in meeting with an advisor who knows you personally and your goals. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say that's our education system, honestly, it failed us. It did.
Yeah, no,
it did.
100%.
Like,
100%.
you know, we're learning PEMDAS. I never in my life learned that. Y equals MX plus B. Never in my life used that.
I don't even know what that's
Like,
for. I
PEMDAS
forget.
is,
Like,
algebra,
you know,
I
it's
think.
like, it's just, I think our education system needs to, like,
Needs
get,
to have
get
a full
more
revamp.
real.
A full revamp.
Right. Yeah. It
Like,
needs
why
to just
don't
be
they
revamped.
teach us exactly what you're teaching? Like, literally, there should be
like
there should be a whole
class.
subject on what
Right.
you're doing right now, and then a whole different subject on credit, and then like
Right.
you know what I mean, and like
Even buying versus leasing a car. So many people ask
Literally.
me those questions, and
Literally.
they're like, which one's better? So we talk about it. And I'm like, listen, there's pros and cons to both. Like, these things, like I said, there's no one size fits all. It's what works best for you. And so, like, yeah, that's definitely our education system.
And I love to do this. Definitely when we have a guest up. So guys, they don't teach us this in school. So that's why you need a professional and somebody who knows what they're talking about. And we're gonna plug her in right here. Eventually, at the end of this, we'll get all your contact information.
Yes.
We'll, you know what I mean?
all her
do
stuff will
that.
be below, so just follow her. Her website will be there. If you want to ever meet with her, to contact her, anything, I'll put her LinkedIn, Instagram, all that good stuff, so you guys know how to get in contact with her. And talking about finance specifically, like, how do you see the world of finance changing and evolving in like the next 10 to 15 years?
Well, I mean, I see a lot of people, like, promoting, like, robo-advisors and stuff like that. Like, oh, get a robo-advisor, you know, put in your risk tolerance and it does it for you. Again, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if you want to do that, like, go right ahead. But again, a robo-advisor does not know you, does not know your goals. You're going to have to call a customer service line to, you know, in general, like, inquire about your investments and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, when you can just pick up the phone and call me. You know what I mean?
Have
Like,
someone personable,
right,
someone who actually
exactly, that
you
knows you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of, like, I see that being promoted a lot, like a lot of robo-advisors and stuff. And I also see a lot of things about, like, cryptocurrencies and
a lot of hot trends.
yeah, lots
NFTs,
of
stuff like
trends.
that.
Yeah. And I always tell people, like, you know, that stuff should be, honestly, in my opinion, your gambling money. You know what I mean? Like, you should have other assets that are going to be safe and stuff that are going to complement those risky
Yeah,
investments
yeah.
that you're making. But you should not be putting all your eggs in one basket. Never do that. I always tell people we should not be putting all our eggs in one
Trust me,
basket.
I
We gotta stay diversified here. So I always tell people, like, if you want to, you know, the cryptos and NFTs, I'm gonna be honest, I don't do them myself. You know, I don't know enough about them, and they're not regulated in my industry either. Like, it's so new that they can't regulate that stuff. And so, like I said, I always tell people, like, if you want to do that stuff, that should be considered your gambling money. Like, only put in what you're willing to lose. So, you know, I know a lot of people do make a lot of money doing that stuff, but
It's also a gamble.
right, it's a gamble. And I personally just don't, I'm not recommending my clients to put their money there unless they want to with their extra funds.
Yeah.
Okay, so money management. I know there's this thing I'm doing right now where I'm trying to get my finances. I need to go get a professional. I need to go see you and talk to you. But I'm working on money management where I'm giving myself an allowance every time I get paid, putting money away. I have a backup emergency fund already.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, but let's talk about the importance of money management and controlling where your money goes to eventually get to the next
Right.
step in growth.
I love that. Okay. I love that you're already doing that because that's literally what I talk about my clients. Like, I always emphasize paying yourself first. So I always tell people, like, you get your paycheck. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pay your bills, right? The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prioritize savings, investing, financial security, debt pay down, anything like that. Then lastly, with the rest of our money, we can save or spend with whatever we have left. But at least we can confidently say that we took care of the important stuff first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bussy shoot.
God bless you.
Oh my.
little intermission in the podcast.
Dang, bro. We'll just continue and he'll come
okay.
back and fill in.
So we're gonna keep going.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just keep going.
So yeah, I always like to emphasize a rule called the 60-20-20 rule. So all that means is like 60% of your monthly take-home pay should be going, no more than 60% should be spent on bills and like other fixed expenses. The next 20% of what you take home every month, put it towards different things, savings, investments, financial security, etc. The last 20%, save or spend, whatever. Guilt-free, because like I said, you checked off that first box already.
Okay. So I see you keep talking about investing. I don't want to tell you what to invest in, but like how important is investing at a young age? Because we all are pretty young, 23, 24, 22.
Yeah.
You're the youngest one here. And you seem to be ahead of me and Shervin, definitely. I'm not gonna lie.
Definitely on the financial planning aspect.
And
I am financials in general. I'm not. I'm a very risky individual. I'll tell you that way.
Yeah, me too. So investing, what do you, without giving too much, what are some tips you would give about investing or, down that lane?
I would say when it comes to investing, one, stay diversified. I always tell all my clients, like, never put all your eggs in one basket. And two, make sure that when you're investing, you know your own risk tolerance. And that's one thing that I do with my clients too, is we take a risk tolerance questionnaire.
Yeah, I don't.
So we go through these questions that are asking like, okay, if your portfolio looked like this tomorrow, how would you feel? And they rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. Basically, after we take this questionnaire and see, how comfortable they are with risk, that's how we determine what portfolio, is right for them. So I would say like, that's also why it's really important to like, have a professional and someone by your side. And I would say another thing with investing, a lot of people, because of the lack of financial literacy, don't really know how investing works. And what I mean by that is they think that they should be investing when everything is hot and trending, right? Mm-hmm. That's like honestly the worst time.
Yeah.
A simple rule, real simple, is buy low, sell high. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, I always ask people this, like, do you like buying things on sale?
Yeah, of
right?
course. Like,
I said, who doesn't like buying things on sale, right? Me too. And so I always tell them, okay, all it means when the stock market crashes is that stocks are on sale.
Great opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Great opportunity to buy more, right? And so I always tell people, if we have extra cash on hand and it makes sense, we're gonna take it as an opportunity. We're not gonna sell our investments. That's the worst thing you could do. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, like, the stock market is the only sale, or in general, it's like Black Friday for stock. Mm-hmm. It's the only sale that people run from. People tend to like, oh, the stock market's crashing, let me take out all my money.
They're like, Black Friday, let's sell everything.
Right. And I'm like, that's like the worst thing you could do. So I would say those are my little tidbits about investing.
Connecting to that same question, if you had to pick one general aspect of investment, whether that's stock, bonds, index funds, mutual funds, what do you think would be the safest? Like, you just throw your money in, you don't even have to look at it, you could just let it ride for like the rest of your life. What would you pick as the safest out of all your investment opportunities?
Well, investments are never safe. You're never guaranteed to make your money back, honestly. But if you're patient and you let your investments sit for a while, time is like your best friend when it comes to investing. Start early, mm-hmm. right? So in general, investments are never safe. I wouldn't say that. But I personally, I'm licensed, in general, and I recommend my clients to invest in mutual funds when it comes to investing. Just because a mutual fund is going to give them diversification, which is what we like. And also mutual funds are going to be actively managed. So what that means is they are literally, there's professional investment managers who manage this fund. They're picking and choosing the stocks in your portfolio that mm-hmm. we picked for you based on your risk tolerance. They're picking and choosing which stocks and companies to invest in for you every single day. So you're not doing the hard work.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Right. And it's a nice hands-off way of investing. I always say, like, it's investing for the lazy person. I invest in a mutual fund every month.
Yeah.
Because I always tell people, you work a 40-hour work week, right? So do I. I work, you know, I don't know how many hours a week I work, but in general, we work full-time jobs, right? I don't know many people who have time to go handpick their stocks, like, and on a daily basis.
Yeah,
Like,
heck
nobody
no.
has time to do that. You know what I mean? So in general, you want something that's, I would say you want something that's actively managed, that's, you know, people have eyes on it and are monitoring these companies and the stock market on a daily basis for you. And so that's what I would say, like, is my, you know, what I'm usually pitching. Yeah.
And then also going on with that, what would you say is like your main goal, mission statement in life is, and like what do you want to leave on this earth far long after you're gone?
Yeah, I would say my main goals are to empower, educate, and inspire. Those are my like 3 pillars. I want to, you know, empower people to take control of their finances. Don't let your money control you. You need to be in control of your money, right? And then I also want to educate people. I just think like financial literacy and education is super important. Like I said, I just want people to know everything that I know. And then I want to inspire people. I want to inspire people to live life by design and not by default. So, you know, just not being a product. Don't be a product of like, you know, your money. You know what I mean? Like make your money work for you. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say.
What were those 3 pillars again?
Empower, educate, and inspire.
Those are great because
Inspire.
even as we do the podcast and stuff, we kind of follow the same lines. We want, but instead of finance, it's just life in general.
Right.
We want people to take control of their life and stuff. So the education and trying to teach people is very important, and just leaving your mark and trying to help as much people
Right.
as
Yeah,
possible is
100%. Wow.
a great
It's
thing.
all, it's all the same journey, just in different ways and aspects of
Yeah.
getting there and stuff like that.
It's great. And that's why the finances part is important, because a lot of people, they want to be rich, but they want financial freedom. All of us want
Yeah. Oh my
financial
God.
freedom.
But a lot of
like,
people are just looking for a rich, quick scheme.
Yeah.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
glad
So
you
like,
said that.
they're not really, you know, putting the due diligence as you are with your clients and how much is coming in, how much is going out, what's your risk tolerance.
Right.
You can look at me right here. Like, I would take my whole commission check and just throw it in some options. I'm not lying to you. And I would,
So-
sometimes it would work out very well. But then
Then there's
sometimes
other times, right.
it doesn't. So, like,
Right.
it extremely important
Yep.
to talk to someone like you. Even if, for example, they're not even going to, just having a conversation with you. Just
Right.
For example, for me, opened my eyes and what I have to start working on and things I
Right.
have to do. So it's all like a learning experience for everyone. And no one's ever going to stop learning. You're not, till the day you die, you won't stop learning about financial planning as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what
Things change all the time.
yeah, things change all the time. Everything's changing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10, 15 years from now, the financial system could be extremely evolved where you, like said, maybe it's mostly robo people and
Right.
not actual people. And maybe that's an incentive and a luxury to have an actual person,
Right.
you know, in the future. So you might think you need it now, but you might even be more needed in the future.
Right.
And your skill set, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I applaud you for starting so early and,
Yes.
and having those 3 pillars, because I'm not going to lie, that's 3 extremely great ways to think and to live your life. So
Yep.
100%.
So everything you do, as far I would say guess that your clients want financial freedom most of the time. That's what
Yeah.
they're looking for.
A
So
lot of people, yeah.
yeah. So now this is more for me than them right now. So without giving too much, even to me, because we're gonna have a conversation after this. What do you suggest for starting to get your steps into financial freedom? As far as I know, the investments and
Right.
having a good control of where your money's going.
I would say like in general, like steps. I would say there's, I mean, one, like I said, like it's hard to say like what steps you should take because like I said, it's personalized. Like it depends on the person and where they're starting at.
Yeah.
But I would say like, you know, basics. I always tell people there's the sexy side of financial planning and there's the not sexy side. The not sexy side is the things that not many people like to talk about. And what I mean by that is, you know, having an emergency fund and how much they should have in an emergency fund. Also talking about disability income insurance and how to protect your paycheck if you were to be disabled. You know, talking about your workplace benefits, what they cover and what gaps need to be filled. Also talking about like life insurance, which is even more important for people who have kids, who have a house, a mortgage, etc. Lots of student loans. But also, there's other types of life insurance that can actually be used while you're alive, and I also talk with people about that. So that is the risk management side of planning. That's the not so sexy side, but it's the most important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the sexy side of financial planning is where the investments come into play and growing our money and the wealth accumulation side. That's the fun part. That's what, when I'm doing review meetings with clients, like when we meet every 6 months to a year, we're talking about their investments most of the time. Okay, how are the investments performing, right? And so in general, I would say, the most important to start is building that strong foundation. I always tell people we need to walk before we run. So, we shouldn't be doing investments and other things like that if we don't have the foundational parts, put in place. Because if we don't have a strong foundation, just like when you build a house, I always tell people you start with a foundation, right? If you don't have a strong foundation, something unexpectedly happens in your life, the whole plan is going to come crashing down if all you have are investments and you have no strong foundation, right? So I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to starting is building that foundation. That way we have something solid to build on. So.
All right. Connecting to that as well, we're already in a recession. So that's something that people are like, oh, no, we're not. No, we are. And 23 is going to be a hell of a year.
Right.
So, what's your main advice to people who are starting out now in this upcoming, things are not going to be booming. Things are going to be actually falling. Stocks are going to get cheaper. Crypto, everything is real estate. Everything's most likely going to go down. What's your advice on people who are starting now in this current situation?
And I just want to add on to that. So a lot of people are, I don't know if your clients are usually like the age
I
range.
have clients between the ages of 22 and late 50s.
Okay, so a lot of people who are young, our age, like going along with that, there's a recession that's hitting. What is the advice for, definitely because a lot of people our age aren't really ahead of the game. If anything, they're behind, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what is the advice to get ahead? And go along with your question, what is advice with the recession coming or here?
So advice for people our age and a recession going on and just getting ahead, right? In general, right now, I mean, I've heard of a lot of people starting to get laid off from their jobs and stuff. It's pretty scary. So definitely save your money.
Yeah.
Make sure you have that emergency fund built up. Again, I don't know how much everybody should have on a case-by-case basis, but in general, savings is going to be like the most important thing right now when we're in something like a recession. And just, honestly, I know it sucks to hear. Nobody wants to hear this, but you got to spend a little less. You know what I mean? Like times are tight, and especially if you don't have like real job security, it's even more important that we're watching where we're spending our money and just being more mindful and conscious of it during times like this. I mean, tough times don't last. So I always tell people that. But also when it comes to a recession, there's not good things that come with it, like, layoffs and the stock market, being down, real estate and all that stuff. But look for opportunities during this time.
Yeah, it's the best time.
The best time for opportunities.
I would say, look for opportunities. This is one of the best times actually to do a lot of things. So, I
100% agree with that. And I feel like right now is like such a good time to have been prepared for it.
Right.
But even if you're not prepared for it, you got to understand you don't really need money to make money if you know how to do things in certain ways and connect with people, because people is the main thing.
Networking.
It's not really money, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And not only that, with being said, but you got to understand, like, a lot of the older people who are the billionaires and millionaires are getting older, and there's going to be a big wealth transfer. I feel like that money is not just going to poof and go nowhere. No, it's going to come down to the next generation. And we are that next generation.
Yep.
So if you get your financial literacy right, start connecting with people like Nessa and other people in your industry, I feel like it's the best time to start now and learn now, because wealth is something that can be built over time, or wealth is also something that you can make and build yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that point. And I wanted to just say real quick on top of that, like what you were saying. So I always tell people, like, you know, being broke is hard, right?
Yeah.
Being broke is hard, and building wealth is hard. Choose which hard.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Choose-
I just heard that the other day.
Choose which hard you want.
Exactly.
Do you want to make the sacrifice today and put $100 a month or even $200 a month away into something that's going to pay off in the long run, and you're going to be wealthy and be able to live life on your own terms and your means? Or do you want to spend all your money today and be working for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
I mean, I like people who have that long-term mindset, and that's the people that I enjoy working with most, who see the value long-term. You can't want instant gratification when it comes to this stuff. If you want to get rich tomorrow, I'm going to be honest, we might not be a right fit, because I always tell people you need to think long-term. You know, like I said, building wealth is hard, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah,
We're not going to
definitely
start
not.
investing today and be rich tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works. You know, you need to give your things time to build up. So, glad you mentioned that.
So due to a cutoff, we'll just be doing our outro now, and we'll do actually a part 2 with Nessa. So stay tuned for that one. We'll be giving more information about her and just get a little bit deeper with her. So if you're stuck at the bottom, there's only one way up,
And that's to elevate.
I'ma turn to the brand. I'ma go make me some enemies. Not being low key, about to come up. I run up on anybody, do a show, and I bet they gon' know me. And this shit till I'm lonely. I've been low, so sad. I bow to the